Welcome to People in Perspective. I'm Sebastian Mendoza with my guest, Peter Boutsikakis. Thank you for watching RBTV. So Peter, what is your role at Riverside Foods?
So I'm the owner and manager over at Riverside Foods, independent grocery store here in town, and third generation owner as well. So I own it together with my uncle Jerry, and then manage along with my cousin Anthony and our two floor managers, Bob and Javier.
Okay, and what is it like managing Riverside Foods?
It's a lot of multitasking, both being accountable, both to everyone being accountable to each other and kind of making sure that that's happening, dealing with both handling the floor and working with employees and customers. So it's very multitasking sort of position.
Mm-hmm. And what is the day-to-day like?
The day-to-day for myself personally is I start the day off typically with a lot of, with more of the office work aspect, looking at the numbers from the day before, planning the day ahead, looking at any sort of accounting and any sort of accounting tasks, working on the weekly advertisement as well and any social media. And then from there, I like to go onto the floor, do the buying, stocking of the beer, wine, and liquor section and working with other departments and seeing where I can be helpful. So it's a good balance of both office and on the floor type of work.
Nice. And if you could describe the customers that come in, everyone around Riverside?
Yeah, the customers here, they're very hyper local. We service the Riverside and also the towns that touch it, Brookfield, Berwyn, Lyons, Stickney. And we see a lot of the customers, we see their families growing through the store, whether it be their kids now coming back in high school. We see a lot of acquaintances and families and friends. So our customers certainly like, I would say, quality and at a fair price, certainly. So yeah, very unique, nice customer base.
Mm-hmm. And could you explain the difficulties in managing Riverside Foods?
The difficulties, I would say there's constantly difficulties in the workplace where it's problem solving is really what it is being able to use your resources to find solutions to different problems, whether it be something, a maintenance issue or something with an employee or staffing, whatever it may be. Personally, the hardest part that I have, that maybe other people have too with their positions, I'm sure, is being able to switch from being efficient and completely responsible and task-oriented at work and then going back home or going out or being social and taking that hat off and not being that way anymore. So transitioning the mindset back and forth.
Mm-hmm. And what was your childhood like growing up?
My childhood. It was fun. I grew up in Palos Hills area. We went to a Greek American school up until 8th grade, and we were able to spend most summers in Greece with the rest of our family. That was great. Growing up through high school, we moved a bit to go to Hinsdale Central High School, and just very family oriented. We had a lot of close friends with us, played sports. Rode bikes, classic. So it was good.
Yeah, that's good. And college, what was that like?
College was a really good experience. I wanted to go downtown. During high school, I was constantly taking the train downtown to see different shows, and so naturally I wanted to go to school downtown as well. So we went to DePaul University, studied for 4 years. The first year I wasn't quite sure my interests, but I eventually found myself interested in geography and urban planning at the neighborhood level. So when that started to change, I got a little bit more serious about my studies. And so after college, I worked for a few years. Actually, I worked as an urban planner for 3 years. And then I went back to college. I went for my postgraduate degree. And I took the opportunity and went out of the country to Scotland for that. For a year. So college was both at DePaul University in Chicago and the Glasgow School of Arts in Scotland.
That's cool. And then going to business after college, when you started working with your family, how did that happen?
Well, so we always had an idea that I have 2 younger brothers, and we all had the idea that possibly one of us would want to work in the family business. We've had this store in our family since 1983. So when I came back, I was definitely interested in continuing to work in the urban planning field. my mother at the time, was looking to actually move on from the store, and we wanted the business to stay in the family. So my brothers and I had a couple discussions, and ultimately I personally decided to take that role. We wouldn't want to see it leave out of the family, and there was a lot of correlation from that. Even though it's not urban planning, I was really working at the neighborhood level, and that's one of the unique things about our family business, is that it is in the community, it's at the neighborhood level. So there was a carryover, and that's how it ultimately came up. It was prompted by my mother wanting to move on.
Okay, have you ever worked anywhere else, other grocery stores?
I haven't worked at other grocery stores. I've had different jobs. In high school, I worked at a pack and ship place, and so definitely learned how to take orders from other people. That was a big learning experience there. In college, I worked at a car wash, which is a lot of fun. That was probably the most fun job we had. And then after I went back for my postgraduate degree, I was working for a catering business. We used to do Indian and Scottish weddings. It was a really unique kind of job. And I think it's important to work or have some sort of work experience as you're going through school. So we always worked at some point during school.
And whenever you find yourself in other grocery stores, do you, like, in your mind, compare your store to their store, what they do differently than what you do?
Oh, all the time. It's actually, I feel like it's part of my job to go see other stores as well. So you see different stores, whether they're the large chain stores, you see that they're buying for their stores at a regional or national level sometimes, and the differences that is. You see other stores that are really kind of competing at the bottom dollar, what's the cheapest thing you can get. I think we're kind of a little bit mix of everything, because we're servicing the neighborhood. We really try to present good quality at a fair price. So I absolutely go to other grocery stores and check them out. It's part of my job, and it's fun too.
And around the neighborhood where you're based, how do you think others see you as a professional?
I'm not sure if people see me as a professional or not. I don't know if I see myself as a professional or not. Certainly there's aspects of it. I have experience and studied, and I have experience in the grocery business as well. But part of my job is laborious as well. It's working with my hands as well. It's working in the community, being a community member too. So I think it's a little bit more mixed with me personally, and I enjoy that.
And would you encourage other people to take up the family business?
Yes, but with a big asterisk to that. I would say it's honorable. It's great being able to involve yourself in an independent family business. I think it's part of the American dream per se, and entrepreneurship. But I would say that before you do that, you really need to be able to bring something to your family business. So whether it be developing yourself personally through different life experiences, or professionally, or just being able to come into the family business and help it grow professionally. So yes, I would say definitely I would recommend it, but you really need to grow yourself and bring something to the table. You don't want it to just be a crutch. You won't be happy in the long run just going there just because it's there.
Do you have a favorite story from Riverside Foods?
There's a lot of stories, because we're working together, we're acquaintances, friends, and everything. But one that I just thought of on the way over here was when we were younger, a couple summers ago, when I was learning actually the position. I was training basically with the different departments. My middle brother Anthony, he was working during the summer there. So we have a freezer in the back where we keep the ice cream, and there was a number of times that somebody was going in and eating one of the ice cream bars and leaving the rest of the package there. So we had a culprit there. So my mom got really involved in this, and she's trying to find out who the heck the culprit is and what's going on. This is going on for weeks. We didn't know who was going and taking ice cream out of the freezer. So we decided to frame my middle brother. So what we did, my cousin and I, we set up a camera outside of the deep freezer, and we said, hey, Anthony, why don't you go in there? We opened a box of ice cream. Why don't you have one of them? Enjoy them. So he goes on camera. You see him going into the deep freezer, taking a Dove bar, eating it, putting the box back in, go in the next day, and we said, Mom, we found the culprit. You never believe who it was. She goes, who? She goes, it's your own son. So we showed her the video, and we framed him. It was a good time. We told her the truth ultimately, but since then, we call him Dove Bar Anthony. So you have to pick on him a little.
That's funny. Well, thank you for being on People in Perspective. I'm Sebastian with my guest, Peter, and this is RBTV.